Michael Caton has been a fixture on large and small Australian screens for 5 decades. He's most memorable for his performances in The Castle and Last Cab to Darwin. He reteams with director Jeremy Sims for the new comic drama Rams. Starring opposite Sam Neill, the two play feuding brothers who both face a mortal threat to their neighbouring sheep farms. Thanks for joining us, Michael Caton. Thanks for joining us, Michael Caton. I'm interested to know, is this the first time you've ever played a farmer on screen?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it is not. It is not.
What did you bring from the previous performance to this one?
I was supposed to be a wool classer, and my first job was for a wool broker.
Yep.
So and then all my uncles in central Queensland were all drovers or horsemen or whatever. So it was the family business. So from a very young age, I was out on sheep stations and mustering and doing all of that stuff.
Well, that's extraordinary serendipity, isn't it? So returning back to something that you used to do when you were far younger, what did you do this time to prepare for Rams?
Just try to get the head in the area, because especially for the end of the movie where you've got to go to places that are sometimes hard to get to. So, just to sort of keep it around you. And you're on location, so there's nothing to distract you really. So you live in your own head a lot. So
yeah, of course, that's a good observation. I'm sure that's probably true of a lot of people who work on the land. So how familiar were you with Sam Neill, who plays your brother in Rams?
Oh, well, Sam and I first worked together. It's nearly 40 years ago.
Wow.
Nearly 40 years. When he first came over, he did a stint on the Sullivans, and I really took a liking to him. He was a lovely fellow, and but that was the first time we ever worked together, and the last time until Rams. Sam and I have never worked together in all that time since.
It's extraordinary that the two of you haven't crossed over before so long. So despite the fact that your two characters are feuding in Rams, how did the two of you get along with one another behind the camera when the camera stopped rolling?
Oh, mate, friendly insults. Never say anything nice. Sort of typical
very,
actors.
very method by the sound.
Typical actors sort of taking the mickey out of each other all the time.
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, Rams is an interesting film because not only does it take place surrounding a disease outbreak in a small town community, but it also deals with the threat of bushfires for people who live on the land. So what does it feel like having made 2020 the movie?
I know, isn't it? Isn't it amazing? It is, because we had to do an RFS course over there just to be safe and learn the right thing to do and the wrong thing to do. But and then we sort of discovered the joys of quad bikes, which I hate.
Yes, you're talking to us.
I mean, I really like sort of trail bikes, but quad bikes. And then the stuntmen say, no, we love them. And of course, the stuntmen will come up and they'll have them up on two wheels, driving across a paddock on two wheels. And I thought, I haven't reached that skill level yet, mate. Yeah.
Maybe for the sequel, that's one to learn for the sequel. And so you'd obviously worked with director Jeremy Sims before on Last Cab to Darwin. How did the two of you find that experience informed the making of Rams?
Oh, well, we've known each other for eons, and that really helps. And we don't have to tiptoe around each other. We're sort of pretty blunt with each other because we don't have to tiptoe around, and sort of Jeremy just goes at me until he gets what he wants. Okay, and that's okay with me.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's an actor, isn't he? He comes from an acting background initially. So do you tend to find that there's a difference between working with people who have been actors and people who've only worked behind the camera?
Yes, I have. Not always, but a lot of the time it becomes all about the shot rather than what's happening within the frame.
Mm.
And Jeremy and Steve Arnold, our DOP, they work really well together, and they'll toss back and forth about lenses and this and that and the other, but it's a really good working relationship they have, and that rubs off on everything, I think, you know?
Yeah. That's an extraordinary thing that you're talking about there, because I mean the interesting thing about Rams for me is that we still get to see, you know, some beautiful countryside, a very interesting part of Australia that's not as familiar to us on the East Coast. So
Exactly.
what was it like kind of working in that environment, which I imagine is quite different to working on the other side of the continent?
Well, we were filming in Mount Barker, and they were so good to us that we couldn't have made the film without their cooperation. And they were just wonderful. At some stage we'd lost our caterers, and the local guy from the hotel came and started doing our meals. It was I would have loved to have gone over, because they had a screening in Mount Barker, and I would have loved to have gone over. But what with the virus and that sort of having some filming to do here, it was just impossible, which is a real pity.
It's a real pity, you're right, particularly considering that certainly on the last film you made with Jeremy, the two of you practically travelled to every corner of the country. So,
yes.
I mean, as an actor, how is it different to kind of be doing this sort of process where you are doing publicity and talking to people through a computer versus actually going and seeing a movie in the cinema with audiences?
Look, it's odd because, you know, I'm supposed to, when I'm talking to you, I'm supposed to look at the camera. But of course, I really want to look at your face.
Yeah.
See how you react.
I do the same thing, yeah.
So you're doing this sort of thing.
Yep.
And I had to do an interview for Sunrise, and they could see me, but I couldn't see them. And I watched it back. And of course, I'm not looking at the camera. I'm looking up and I'm talking, and you know, and then we're going to do this and that and the other. I'm just looking around the room like I'm really disinterested, but I didn't have anything to actually look at. And it's an art, and I'm still perfecting.
You need a big directional arrow to point you towards the camera at the top of the
screen. Stupid.
Yes, that's the tennis ball on the stick. So we're seeing a lot of TV series today which are sort of inspired by movies that pick up on characters 10 years or 20 years after the events of the movie, such as Cobra Kai, which is a sequel to The Karate Kid.
Yeah, right.
So would you return to the character of Daryl Kerrigan from The Castle? And if you did, what would he be doing today?
God only knows. Probably, God, what would he be up to? He'd probably be refusing to retire, and driving his son, who he gave the business to, and Sons, you know, Kerrigan and Sons, driving him crazy. So I don't know.
I think that sounds like the beginning of a terrific TV series.
No, they wanted to do a TV series after we made the film, but I didn't want to. I just wanted to leave it as a perfect little gem, and not rather than milk it. You know, I thought no, I just want to leave it as it is.
A hole in one. So yeah, what's the point of revisiting it?
Yeah.
Well, thanks very much for talking to us today, Michael. Congratulations on the making of Rams, a terrifically enjoyable Australian film, and we look forward to when we get to see it in cinemas here in Melbourne.
You and me both. I haven't seen it on the big screen myself yet. I've just seen it on the 65-inch. So I can't wait to see the Sterling Ranges in all their beauty on the big screen.
Well, it looks terrific. Congratulations.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you.